First of all, I'd like to thank Coloplast for sponsoring the event this evening. Uh, we do try to get companies to sponsor these events, and Coloplast have been very kind to do that. The first topic is on night drainage, and Helen Cox from Coloplast, who's nurse manager for East of England, is going to talk to us about night drainage. Helen's had 25 years experience in nursing, stoma nursing, and both her husband and her son have got stomas. So Helen was well pleased with and got involved with stomas, obviously with her son and her husband having them, and decided to change from a career in law to take up nursing. So pleased that she did, and she can be with us here tonight. So, Helen, would you like to um, talk to us about night drainage, please?
I would. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the lovely welcome. I got involved, as Brian said, with stomas years and years ago. My family have got a hereditary disease. It's on his side, not mine. My genes are fine. It is on my husband's side. But what I'm come to talk to you about today is night drainage. So it's often a topic that's overlooked when it comes to dealing with urostomies, but it is really important that we understand a little bit more about how to manage night drainage. So the whole aim of looking at how we drain the night bag and the urostomy bag is the ultimate aim is that we give you a safe, uninterrupted night's sleep so that you can sleep all the way through and you've got confidence in the night drainage system. So, in my experience, and Kelly and Natalie, I'm sure you'll jump in if I say anything that you don't agree with, but I've got two types of patients with urostomy. I've got the type that don't wear a night drainage bag and the type that do. And the ones that don't, they tend to set the alarm overnight and they get up every 2 hours to empty their normal urostomy bag. But I always urge my patients to have a night drainage bag at night time. And some of the benefits, and you guys know this better than me, is that you get that continual drainage. You don't need to get up during the night. You've got less pressure pulling on the pouch. You know, these adhesives, they're not 100% infallible, so anything we can keep the pressure away from your skin will be great. We want to sort of decrease the risk of overfilling, and we want you to be able to get a good night's sleep, because I don't know about you guys, but I am very grumpy if I don't have a good night's sleep. Ask the husband. So when it comes on to drainage bags and you attach it to your urostomy, you want that continuous flow all the way through. So you need to prepare before you go to bed. So check your own pouch, check your urostomy pouch, make sure that's nice and secure. But what a lot of new patients with urostomy don't do is they don't prime the line. So when you've got your night drainage bag out, it's always good to put a little bit of water in the bag so that you've got it laying in the bottom here. And the reason for that is if you don't prime the line, sometimes when the urine starts flowing, you get like a vacuum and it kind of that's the technical term, that is. If you didn't get it the first time, it's called a and that's where the bag, your urostomy bag on your tummy, vacuums against your skin, and there's no urine that can get out, and often it pools at the top. So if you do get that, it's really important to look at your priming of the line. That's one thing that sometimes we as stoma nurses forget to tell our patients, and sometimes it's something you guys forget to do. The other thing to get that nice flow through is to make sure that you avoid twists and kinks. Now, every manufacturer, whether it be Coloplast, Anzac, Hollister, Salts, will all have their own night drainage bag to go with their urostomy bag. But some people like the corrugated one, so it's an anti-kink one. So if you do get a kink, in your night drainage bag, it may be worth having a word with your stoma nurse to see if you can adapt to a different one that's an anti-kink one, because then that won't, no matter whether you're jumping over the bed, left to right, up and down, on your back, on your face, the bag will de-kink with you. So that could be an idea as well. And then we get on to the fact of having a secure connection. So I am going to call the elephant out in the room. For those of you who don't know, Coloplast, in their wisdom, have recently changed the adapters on their night bags. This is causing a little bit of a kerfuffle. I don't know how much I can swear on here, and as it's being recorded and it's going to go on a national website, I probably can't. So the simplest thing to remember is when you're trying to put a universal adapter, these are the generic universal adapters that go into every catheter and every catheter bag on the market. When you're trying to get that into the bottom of your urostomy bag, you will stretch the tap. So you need an adapter. Don't put that straight in. You need to attach an adapter and then attach the adapter to your day bag, night bag. So don't put the night bag in without putting a cap on. Does that make sense? I'm just looking at the people I can see to get a few nods. But this is causing a bit of an issue because we've upgraded our urostomy bags to a supersonic tap, but the bungs on the old urostomy bag still need a different adapter. Anybody who's got any problems with that, I'm more than happy to speak to anybody. I think Brian was talking about breakout rooms, more than happy to speak to anybody around that on an individual basis, or if you'd like a call, I can do that over the next couple of days as well if you don't want to bring it up into the main forum. The other couple of top tips: do not have your night drainage bag in bed with you. It's not a friend, it's not a partner. It does need to be lower than your stoma. So ideally pop it on the floor in an old washing up bowl, or companies will provide you with a night drainage bag, a night drainage stand to pop your bag on. So that's kind of the quick round robin on my tips that I've picked up over the years. Make sure you use an adapter if needed. Use a longer anti-kink tube if you're worried about the kinking. Prime the line in your night drainage bag and have the bag lower than your stoma, because that will help with gravity. Any other issues you have with night drainage, as I say, you can pop it in the chat or speak to me or Kelly or Natalie around it when you're in the breakout rooms. I think that's about it, and I think I've done it in 10 minutes flat.
You've done it in actually 6.5 minutes, so that's very good.
Well, that was a 10-minute presentation. I just talk quick.
Indeed. Just one thing that I would add to that. I personally use a two-piece pouch.
Yeah.
And at night time, I turn the pouch at right angles to my body.
Yeah.
So, and then attach the night drainage bag, and so the urine's then flowing directly down to the pouch instead of going, round in circles, sort of thing. Because some people do have problems with, how to put the tube down. Do they put it under the leg? Do they put it, over their arm, round the neck? Where do they put it, sort of thing? So it's a thing. The other thing is, I just noticed that John's put in the chat here about washing the night bag out. Did you want to say anything about that, Helen?
Yeah, I mean, this, you can open a can of worms when you say about washing night bags out, because some people just throw them away, and they're okay if they're just single use. But if they're the ones that come in a pack of 10, then they should really last for about a week. That is what the manufacturing advice is. And all I would say is when you disconnect in the morning, just run that through some water from the tap. You don't need anything special. No bleach. We don't want anything going through there, and just drain it through and have it open over the on top of the toilet. The good thing about these nightstands is they do actually sit on the toilet, so you can drain it and then just lift your tube up and just drain it through. But it's not a necessity because nothing is going to go back in. So I'm happy with it just being flushed through with water.
Okay, thanks very much for that.